Okay, I'd like to respond to an article from WWPD about Panzer Kanonen and the Viking 5th SS Division, and in particular their discussion about Panthers. Uh, I, I don't know how to explain this, but I agree but disagree, or disagree but agree. Basically, they said that the 5th SS Panthers are not worth it compared to the confident veteran Panthers. Um, I disagree about that because the reason is that you don't have protected ammo with the Panther. The Panther is better off having fearless and trained rather than confident veteran. Yes, you'll get hit more, but the whole advantage of the Panther is that the front armor is the strongest that you can have, short of a King Tiger. It's even stronger than a Tiger tank. In fact, if you were to go head to head, most likely I would imagine that the Panther would defeat the Tiger head to head. The advantage of the Tiger is that it has great armor all the way around, whereas the Panther has weak side armor. And also it has protected ammo, which is an important part when you're thinking about what you get. Having the veteran label allows it to stormtrooper better, not get hit, make skill checks a little bit better. The Panther doesn't really need that. I mean, losing that ability to get hit, I guess when somebody comes over to the side, they're gonna get wasted pretty easy. But generally speaking, you're not worried about getting hit because the front armor is so strong. Even against T-34 85s, you have a good chance of deflecting that shot. Now, when you get to heavier armaments, even Fireflies or the new American anti-tank weapons and so forth, then you start running into trouble. But save that, and also this really has to do with going up against the Russians. You pit them against their medium tanks, and they will mess them up because if you get the Panzer Kanonen, which will make it about the same price, and as you add more tanks, you'll start off with 490, 65 more points, and it's about, if I'm not mistaken, 560 for the confident veterans. So it's about, and then it gets even cheaper as you go into more tanks into your platoon. So really, the Panther needs the Fearless label more because it doesn't have the protected ammo, so the Fearless will allow it to get back in. And with the Panzer Kanonen, it's going to get to re-roll its stormtrooper checks, skill checks, which is better than having a veteran status. Again, the only weakness is that you're going to get hit more, but with the great front armor, you should be okay. So that's the advantage. The disadvantage to the Panzer Kanonen getting Panthers is that if you get the other tanks, let's say the Panzer IVs or the Stugs, they have protected ammo and they need the veteran status so they don't get hit because they have weaker armor rather than the trained. They don't need fearless. They got protected ammo, so they can go confident. So really, the weakness of the Panzer Kanonen Panther is everything around it, basically. Your troops are not going to be able to dig in as well. They won't be able to assault. Without the Panzer Kanonen rules for them, they're going to run into trouble. Also, you can see here that you don't get the options for the Panzer, for the 5th SS. These are really just good for the 3rd SS, and then you have another pretty cool thing here for the 3rd SS. So right now, what I'm making a list. If I go the Panzer Kampfgruppe, I'm probably going to go with 3rd SS. I like their options a little bit better. I like being able to take a really cheap Panzer IV and just kind of waste it. I love taking Tigers and being more diverse. Being a fearless veteran, also their special rule, their commander is a tank ace. They get to roll on the Tiger A skills and get that. So you don't get the Panzer Kanonen for the 3rd SS. But for the 5th SS, I'm not quite sure. I feel comfortable playing Germans trained unless I take a force pretty much comprised only of Panther tanks, because the Panzer Konens are great for Panther tanks. I would rate them probably point for point the best that you can possibly get. However, you are suffering in the rest of the list where you have troops that just can't stormtrooper. They're not going to be able to hide very well. It is really fun, or not fun to go up against, but to have those veteran troops dug in, gone to ground, you can't even see them unless you get up close. With a trained, you can hit them from long range, so that's a disadvantage. Germans need to survive. Even with the point break, train just doesn't cut it. Unless you are in the Panthers, like I said. So that's all I have to say about that. The Panzer Kanonen Panthers, I really like. I'm a big fan of them. I'm just not a fan of the rest of the division. Just two quick points. Sorry about the finger earlier in the video, but I wanted to explain the importance of the Stormtrooper with the Panzer Kanonen. When you have the Panzer Kanonen, you get to re-roll your Stormtrooper, and some people may not understand, and most veterans, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But when you have a re-roll, when you have a Stormtrooper, basically, let's say you're behind this hill, and the American is over here. A basic German tactic is to just pop out, shoot, and then there's some other guys in Stormtrooper back behind the hill, away. Being able to re-roll, I believe you have 75% chance to make that Stormtrooper roll, whereas veterans only 66 or 67% chance. So it's close, but the Panzer Kanonen will have that advantage. So you can't hit what you can't see. So having that veteran status doesn't matter if that Stormtrooper is better. You got that 3/4 chance of hiding away from the shot, and the best defense is just not being there when that blow comes. So that's another point I just wanted to explain, that the better Stormtrooper gives the Panzer Kanonen a bigger advantage over a confident veteran, especially with the tanker, with the Panthers.